Hey everyone, Gojo here. We're a bit late on this, but I'd like to go over the 3.8 patch notes because this time around we have a ton of changes for the TCG. The moment you've all been waiting for, Beidou finally got buffed. Her elemental skill damage has been increased from 2 to 3. This was pretty expected since Candace has the same type of skill, but also does 3 damage. Beidou's burst was also buffed. The dice cost for casting it has been reduced from 4 to 3, and the damage on cast has been reduced from 3 to 2. Overall, these are pretty good changes for our Seafaring Pirate, making her pretty functional in PvP. Speaking of making characters functional, Eula has also gotten some buffs. Her Grimheart status damage has increased from +2 to +3, and her burst summon, the Lightfall Sword, has the base damage increased from 2 to 3 as well. These are some nice small buffs that help Eula be more of a threat when she has Grimheart status active. Eula isn't the only heavy hitter from Mondstadt who got attention though. The Wolf Boy himself, Razor, has received some changes. His burst energy cost has been reduced from 3 to 2, and the damage on cast has been adjusted accordingly from 5 to 3. People do debate about whether this is a buff or nerf to Razor. So far, it kind of depends on the deck. The most important thing is that Razor can get his burst out much faster, which is the main draw of his kit. Next on the list is someone who's had many changes since the start. Yoimiya. Her burst cost has been reduced from 4 to 3, and to compensate for that, they also reduced her burst damage on cast from 4 to 3. We're not going back to 3.3 just yet, but this does make trying to use her burst less polarizing. And last but not least for character changes, we have the best chef in all of Teyvat, Xiangling. Her burst damage on cast was increased from 2 to 3. Unfortunately, this doesn't really solve her main issue, having a hard time building up her burst, but hey, extra damage on a pirate character is always nice. For our new 3.8 character cards, I'm sure you've already seen them: Candace, Kazuha, and Yanfei. Candace has been the big winner of these three, so far being used in OTK setups with Razor and stall decks like xiangling and Ito. Kazuha and Yanfei haven't been so lucky finding player place in decks. Currently, with the new Klee Covenant meta, Yanfei is simply outshined by her. Kazuha has a lot of ideas, but none of them have really broken into the spotlight yet. Characters may be the name of the game, but that's not all that was added this patch. 3 new action cards: Master Zhang, Fruit of Fulfillment, and Rhythm of the Great Dream. Master Zhang is a 1-cost card that reduces the dice needed to play a weapon by 1 dice. Additionally, for every character that has a weapon equipped, he will reduce the cost of that weapon by 1. This counts opposing characters as well, which means if you are facing off against a Noelle Ito deck and they've got both weapons equipped, your weapons will cost 0. Fruit of Fulfillment is a catalyst that costs 3 unaligned dice and increases the damage dealt by 1. Upon being played, it'll draw 2 cards. It's basically a strategize. Lastly, Rhythm of the Great Dream. The next time you play a weapon or artifact, spend 1 less elemental dice. For action card adjustments, they finally decided to nerf gamblers. Yes, exactly what everyone was waiting for. Wait, what do you mean this nerf is only relevant in the PvE? And only relevant in the newest event? Indeed, the change is as follows. Gamblers can only trigger 3 times per match now. Okay, but what if their opponent revives twice? Then it's relevant, right? No, I can just simply equip my second gamblers and use its effect 3 more times. This change only truly affects the newest event, which has almost an infinite wave of enemies. But even so, the event is pretty easily doable, and you don't need to worry about missing out any of your lucky coins. Now for the biggest addition of the patch, the introduction of the Arcane Legend cards. Arcane cards have 3 special rules that you want to understand before using them. You can only have 1 of each identical Arcane Legend card in your deck, meaning no double copies like normal action cards. Let's say I have 2 Covenant, just 1. 2. Your starting hand will always contain the Arcane Legend card from your deck. You can mulligan it out, but regardless, it is always going to be there first turn. 3. Each player may only play 1 Arcane Legend card for the entire game. You will consume your Arcane dice, which is next to your name tag. Now, let's talk about the 2 new Arcane cards. Ancient Courtyard is a card that focuses on equipment. In order to play it, you must have a character who has already equipped a weapon or an artifact. Once you play Ancient Courtyard, the next time you equip a weapon or an artifact on a character who already has a weapon or artifact equipped this round, spend 2 less elemental dice. This makes building up your carry much easier. For a relevant example, in the bin list, Ito can equip a very high cost claymore like the Bell and an artifact like Tenacity of the Millelith much faster. This even gives you the ability to swap artifacts, allowing Ito to also take advantage of gamblers with his high kill power. This does hinge on you drawing both your weapon and artifact, but the moment you do, your opponent's probably going to top right. The other new Arcane Legend card is Covenant of the Rock. It can only be played when you have 0 dice left in your hand, and once you play it, it'll generate 2 different elemental dice. This opens up the ability for decks being able to attack again even with 0 dice. This especially enhances characters who have strong normal attacks, pairing it with dice reduction. An example of a character making insane profits off this card is Klee, since after using her skill and gaining 1 explosive spark, If she performs a charge attack, it'll cost 0 pyro dice. Thanks to this card, Klee Mona is back in business and can now average 13 damage on the first turn. While you can avoid the first turn kill, the opponent can simply save this card for later play. We will have a more detailed guide on arcane cards in the future, but for now, experiment with them and see what you come up with. And that wraps up our 3.8 patch note changes. If you have any questions of how to slot these new additions into your deck, or need a playing field to test, come join our Discord at discord.gg/GITCG. You can also check us out on our other social medias. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for future uploads, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.